Let's see, when are we going live? Let's hope this thing... There we go. All right, so we are live. Let's hope the internet holds. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And of course, if you're watching this over on YouTube, remember to hit the like button and also hit the link in the description down below, because it is always better when it's live. I'm just quickly... fuck, that's so many videos that I have to work out. All right, let me see. Where's part one? All right, part one. All of these are the same one, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's do part one. I think part one we can do. Maybe same time as part two. Fuck, I don't. Wait. Yeah, let's just get all of this ready, and then we can quickly do the different parts. Okay, that should work. It's a weird time to start streaming. Well, actually, not that weird. It's 10 o'clock. It's not the worst time in the world. I do wish I didn't have to fucking, like, not start earlier. It would have been nice if I could start early this morning, but power literally just came back on. So we'll see what we have today. Okay, that's working. Abaddon, how you doing, brother? I'm just busy scheduling stuff. That's it. Not bad, thanks yourself. Oh, bro, I can't complain. I have no complaints whatsoever. I mean, I could complain, but I don't think that'll help. I don't think the internet's gonna get any better by me complaining. So, you know. Al, how you doing? Vismanen, how you doing? Had the blinds put in, so cool. They're motorized. Lazy ass can stay in bed and control the full house. Ah, fucking nice, bro. Frag, how you doing, brother? Abaddon, is it full block blinds, or is it just your normal blinds that still allows light through? But it's... Where the fuck's part one? Here we go. Yo, good finally catch you live. Weber, how you doing, brother? Thanks for the first time chat. Really appreciate that, bro. So this video is 27th, so this has to go from the 28th. Schedule for the 28th. 28. Hey, dude, take it. Your internet died again yesterday. Frag, yes. It feels like it's getting worse. So apparently, you know, if my power is getting worse, but so too is my internet. Everything feels like it's just getting worse in my country, which is not a good sign, to say the least. But at the same time, you know, it is what it is. We got some 3 hours in, and the VODs are available. Like, hopefully that's fine. But yeah, power went... Like, we were still busy playing Space Marine. We were actually still playing Space Marine. And then power just... Oh, internet just fucking went. And I was like, ah, for fuck's sake. Are you for real? Like, why? So yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. I went through a tiny Irish village in the countryside. Less than 50 people live there, and the little coffee shop is run by South Africans. Was nice to speak Afrikaans. Wait, what? Apocalypse, how you doing, bro? A small coffee shop in Ireland in a small village run by South Africans. I mean, if these people wanted small village life, they could have just stayed in South Africa. There's loads of small places. I mean, one of the... So, I didn't even know this, but apparently, like, one of the really good restaurants in the UK, in London, is actually also a South African restaurant that serves traditional South African food. I don't know. I didn't know this. I saw a video from Salted Foods where they had the chef on. And he made them like proper South African stuff. These ones, blackouts in bedrooms, normal for rest. Hold up, let me see here. True. I mean, look, if you have the money to immigrate, you have the money for solar panels on your fucking roof, Apocalypse. Like, you don't have to immigrate in order to get electricity, because immigration is fucking expensive. At least last time I checked, it would cost me like somewhere in the realm of 100,000, if not more, to immigrate. If I wanted to go fully off the grid, it would cost about 100,000. You know, so if it's really a problem, you could just fucking stay here and just get off the grid. Easy life. We know that feeling. You're in the UK. Country's getting worse by the day. Goeiemorgen, Jake Reaper. How you doing, brother? It's not that bad for South Africans to move to the UK. D-Rocker, how you doing, brother? 10 months in a row. 15 months part of the DJ Nation. Appreciate you, fam. Thank you. Fuck you, D-Rocker. King Julian, how you doing, brother? Why isn't it as bad for South Africans in the UK, though, Apocalypse? Because I can't move to the UK. Your government have said on numerous occasions, no, get the fuck away from us. So I would say it's pretty difficult to get in. So how did you hear the first episode? Yes, I have. Dude, check the fucking title. King Julian, check the title. What does the title say right now? What does it say? We're more selective, Akko. You can fuck off unless you float over in a dinghy. Wow. So the UK is too good for me? Am I not good enough for the UK? Jesus. UK visa requirements are mental now? I mean, I don't mind that. I think a country should have control over who the fuck gets into their country and who doesn't. Because usually the people that suffer due to immigration are the poor. Like, the poor and the middle class are the ones that suffer. It's not the rich. The rich likes immigration because it means cheaper labor. Because immigrants, generally speaking, especially in South Africa, for example, the undocumented immigrants, they work for a lot less than the South African ones do because they're undocumented. They don't want to go to the government, and they're not going to walk over to CCMA, which is like the workers' union thing, whatever. They're not going to go there, right? So a lot of rich people employ almost exclusively undocumented workers because they can pay them fucking next to nothing. And they'll take the jobs because they need it. Because they're not documented, they can't get another job. So immigration almost always fucking destroys the poor. So I don't mind that countries have control over who gets into their country and who doesn't. Has literally no control at the moment. There were the dinghy migrants the other day broke into someone's home in Dover, demanding they give them their phone and take them to London or Manchester. Jesus. For you, yeah, it may be harder because you are not employed, but if you immigrate to the UK and you have a job, then it's easy. Yeah, I don't want a job. Like, wait, is this not considered a job? How is what I do not a job? I wake up every day at 5 a.m. I sit in front of my PC like all other people that have a job in the modern era. What I do on my PC should not be relevant. I have a PC and I'm in front of it every single day. It's my business what the fuck I do on it. I think technically speaking, I have a job. Just say you're gay and the South Africans are going to lynch you, so you need asylum. Abaddon, that would work, but South Africa doesn't have a lot of problems with gay people. I mean, you have your general people that just don't like gay people, right? But for the most part, South Africa is not really anti-gay. In fact, that would be one of the things South Africa doesn't suffer on, is sort of, I think, those kinds of rights. Most people don't really give a shit. Most people don't give a crap. I think it's like, if you go to the more tribal areas, I think you can get like a lot of flack for that shit. But in terms of city life, no one gives a shit, bro. No one cares. So I don't think that's gonna fly. Yeah, the UK would know that because you have to prove, in order to get asylum, you have to prove that your life is in danger. You can't just claim it. At least if you're South African, you have to prove that your life is in danger. Otherwise, they'll just tell you to fuck off. Tribal areas where I am living in Australia. You live in a tribal area, King Julian? Why? Did the people in the city not fucking want you anymore? As someone dealing with legal immigration here, it's nutty unless you have guarantees in the form of contracts, etc. Illegal immigration is super easy. That's sort of so in a perfect world, if it was up to me, I would have no immigration whatsoever. And I don't mean no immigrants. I mean, there shouldn't be any immigration laws. Someone should be able to live wherever the fuck they choose to live. If you like a specific country, you should be able to go to that country and just live there. As long as you want to, contribute and have a job and make money. I don't know why countries would say no to you for that. But we don't live in a perfect world, right? So you live in a world where people can come in and do all sorts of terrible shit. So I understand why countries have legal routes and shit, but yeah, if it was up to me, I wouldn't have that. King Julian, you don't live in a town, bro. You live in a village and you're the village idiot. Everyone fucking knows that. Don't lie to us. You're not gonna get away with that shit here, King Julian. Pack that shit away now. Oh, tribal area in South Africa, tribal areas where tribes live. So, for example, South Africa has 11 official languages. Each one of those languages are attached to a tribe. Each one of those tribes have their own tribal land or kingdom, if you will. Not all of them have kings, some of them have chieftains, but basically it's a tribe and that's their land. That's where they historically hail from. At least some of them claim that that's where they historically hail from, even though they have no records of that claim. But, for better or worse, that's where they live. In those areas, there are some tribes that do have a problem with gay people and the like. But most people that do live in areas like that, where things could go wrong, just move to the cities, and those problems are sorted. Spectrum, how you doing, brother? Problem with that is a resourcing issue. Many don't have the job, etc., and want to move to somewhere, generally with a better quality of life. Can look at EU, for example. The open borders there meant a lot of younger people left Poland, etc., to move to Germany, UK, and so on, as for better prospects. Screwed their home countries over and led to a lot of infrastructure pressure on host nations. Abaddon, so one of the reasons that is a problem, and this is why I said in a perfect world, when you have governments that hand out checks to people and governments that pay for people's way, suddenly you have to control immigration. Because if you just allow anyone to come into your country, and you have things like free healthcare, well, let's say you have things like taxpayer-funded healthcare, the taxpayers can't fund the whole world. There's just no way. Kit Kat, how you doing? Thanks for the Prime sub. 8 months, part of the DJ Nation. Appreciate you. Thank you. So suddenly you have to control immigration because the government only has, the government has a finite amount of resources, and you could effectively have an infinite amount of immigrants flooding into your country. But if you had a country where, things like that was controlled by the market and the government didn't do as much, then suddenly things like immigration controls become completely and utterly useless. Because if you had private companies, for example, building out the infrastructure, they would build it because there were people that wanted to use it. So they would come up with a fix in order to solve it. And if you had a government that sort of just guided it, so made sure that the private companies do the things that's supposed to happen, and they're not just getting completely or shafting people in the process, you could probably have uncontrolled immigration. It wouldn't be a problem. But again, then there's other problems that fall into that. So for example, you would need all countries in the world to run optimally, or at least close to optimally, because if you have any area in the world that is sort of falling apart and people don't want to live there, they're going to flood to the places that isn't falling apart, and that's almost always not the whole world, or at least half of the world. It's almost always like one or two countries within the world that isn't falling apart, so those countries would have to bear the brunt of immigration. So I can see what you mean by that. I just think ultimately, I think a lot of countries play the immigration game much to the detriment of a lot of other countries, because there's no perfect way. If you look at the current system for the UK, right, it has this what's it called, the merit-based system, where you get merits based on who you are. The problem with an immigration system like that is only the best people from a country can get into the other country. So the UK only takes people that is educated, well-read, hardworking, and successful. Well, what happens to the host nation? Take South Africa, for example. How many losers from South Africa do you think calls the UK home? I would say very few. The majority of people that moved or immigrated from South Africa to the UK are highly educated, highly driven, want to work, and is making a success for themselves there. They could have done that in South Africa. Those are resources that South Africa is now losing because those resources are now in the UK. The same is true for every other third world nation. So what ends up happening, especially with immigration the way that it is worldwide now, you end up with a brain drain. So most of your third world nations can't get themselves out of poverty because they don't have the brain power to do it. Most of their smart people have already fucked off. Zimbabwe is in that situation right now, where most of the skilled and schooled people of Zimbabwe came to South Africa after Zimbabwe fell. They now live in South Africa. So Zimbabwe, even if it wanted to rebuild itself, it is rebuilding itself with severely underskilled people who are uneducated, incapable of actually rectifying the country. There's no way Zimbabwe is ever rebuilding itself outside of being conquered by another nation and then put right with force. I don't see Zimbabwe ever getting back on its feet because it just purely doesn't have the resources. And anyone that is capable leaves because they're capable. They don't want to be in a country where they're being held back. 20k Ukrainians now at 50k. They're making them homeless and sleeping on the floors. Disaster. While we have record homeless of locals also. Government can't even wipe their own ass. Well, that's government for you. It's called health tourism. Actually a big issue with people flying over at 8 months pregnant, etc. I do live in a small town, though, in Australia, Akko, because if I didn't, how would I have internet to watch your stream and join your chat? You're stealing it off your neighbor, King Julian. Kind of the same with Mexico and South America. Those with the abilities move to the US. Yeah, Apocalypse. South America is in very much the same position as a lot of African nations. Most of the African nations struggle with their elite. Let's call it their elite. They're educated, going to Europe. So Europe has all of the people that Africa needs in order to fucking set itself right. But those people aren't going to live here because why the fuck would you live in Africa if you could live in Europe, right? Why would you do the hard work of getting a continent to a place of flourishing if you could just move to a continent that is already flourishing? So yeah, it's sad, but at the same time, what are you going to do about it? People should be free to move around as they choose, and countries should be free to choose who they take. So I don't think there's a fix for this problem. It is just a fucking problem that, exists. Pelistek, how you doing, brother? I'm good, man. You're all right? Glad to catch you online. Hey, I'm glad that all of you are here, and I apologize, as always, for yesterday. I apologize for my internet, guys. I can't promise that today's going to be any better. I have no guarantees for you guys. All I know is that the problem should be better in a month from now. Not the power problems. Those will persist for a while longer because that's fucking expensive. But the internet problem should at least be fixed. But that's going to be in a month when I move. That's not going to be now. These guys have made it very clear they don't know what the problem is and they don't even think there is a problem. So how do you explain to an internet service provider that your internet is fucked if they tell you, when you tell them, it isn't fucked? And you're like, no, it really is fucked. And like, no, it's not. It looks like you're connected, and that's good enough for us. Like, yeah, all right, but I'm not connected, though, am I? Like, I'm disconnecting. What the fuck? And like, nah, you're good, bro. You're good. On our side, you're very much connected. would be if the country can handle the influx and still provide good opportunity for work, housing, etc. for their people, which doesn't happen in the Netherlands, where they want to bring in more fugitives, while having a 300,000 housing storage, and they're kicking people out of rental homes just to fit in more refugees to increase their image on the world stage. Yeah, I can see why a lot of people might get annoyed by that. I can see that. How could you say that, Akko? I know where I live and I paid for everything I own, so stop making up lies about me, Akko. Okay, so in chat, can I see hands? Who of you believe that King Julian is stealing his internet from his neighbor and he is basically the village idiot? And who of you think that King Julian paid his own way and is living a good and decent, healthy life? Let's see, hands in chat. Man, Uncle, how you doing, bro? King Julian, we love you though, bro. Don't worry about it. Apocalypse, that's the frustrating part. Whenever I phone my ISP and I'm like, hey, bros, the internet is fucking up. They're like, well, on our side, you're connected. I'm like, yeah, I'm connected to the internet, but it's slow. And also, I can't stream. And like, yeah, but you are connected though. So yeah, I just fucking said that. It's the problem is not a disconnect. If it was a full disconnect, maybe we could fix it. The problem is that it's slow and therefore I can't stream. Yeah, but you are connected though, right? You have internet, right? Yeah, all right, never mind. Let's just fucking leave this. I'm gonna lose my mind. The same where I live, one ISP has all the infrastructure and does shadow load shedding on internet by slowing down the internet. Don't know how it works, but shit is stupid. So you do have this thing in South Africa that is illegal. They're not allowed to do that. But you have a thing called throttling. This used to be very big during the ADSL days. During ADSL days, they would throttle the living fuck out of you whenever everyone was online. Because they didn't have enough capacity for everyone. And so in order to make sure that everyone had at least some access to the internet, they would throttle it. But since fiber became a thing, it became illegal in my country to throttle. So you can't throttle lines. They claim that this is not throttling. And I kind of want to believe them that it's not throttling because it's throttling at weird times. It's not like I can pick up a pattern. It will do it whenever the fuck it wants. So sometimes it can do it at this time. Other times it will do it at 2 p.m. Sometimes we can go all day and nothing happens. Other times it'll happen at 4 p.m. It's like very weird. It's like all over the place. Then you don't have internet, then you don't. So the only thing that I can think of, well, I can think of two reasons that it could potentially be. Number one is my router. It could be the router that's making the problems. I'm getting a new router, so that's not a problem. And the other one is that it's one of their connections that run from my residence to the lines, to the relay for Twitch. One of those connections fucks up, and it's just random. I don't know which one it is, so I can't really say. It's really annoying. Disposition to their customers. The apartment is a student apartment. Sometimes we have a day without internet, and when people complain, they say, well, then you should download less porn. They say this while there is an exam period going on. Fuck. Okay, that sucks. I would say, okay, so I make a point of it not to move into any place that has pre-installed internet. What I mean by that is, so you have these companies in South Africa, they're really fucking scumbag. So they go to all new housing developments and they basically convince the housing development to allow them to install internet free of charge. So they'll install all of the fiber lines free of charge. But then if you move into those houses, you're not allowed to use any other fiber provider except for that one. So you're forced to use that guy. Now, what they do is they still offer ADSL prices or packages on fiber prices. So, for example, my brother lived in an apartment like this where he had 2 megabytes per second download and 30 megabytes specific. No, 2 megabytes download upload and 30 megabytes download per second. And it was like $500 or $600. If you go to any of the other open market ones, so the guys that you can just phone up and they'll give you internet, for that price, you can get an easy 50-50, even like probably 100-100 almost, for that price. So those companies are fucking horrendous. I don't move into any house that has that. As soon as they tell me, no, this is the fiber provider, I'm like, yeah, I'm not moving here. Fuck you. I will not use these guys because it's completely anti-free market. I wish I could say my internet is really reliable. But let's see. Next year or next month, I'm moving to Frogfoot. Frogfoot is considered to be one of the better fiber providers in South Africa. So, you know, hopefully they rock. Frag, I currently have 200 up, 200 down. And that's enough for me because YouTube has a built-in sort of limit to how much you can upload to it. So I can't upload YouTube videos any faster than I'm already uploading them. So yeah, for me, it's like, it doesn't really matter. Wait, what? That sounds scary. Sorry, I'm just seeing something here say this breaks everything for the US financial system. And I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about, but apparently the US banking system is about to fucking break. Anyways, what are you guys up to? You know, apart from watching me trying to make sense of the world. There we go, King Julian. The people have spoken. They're currently working on installing fiber across the UK. That's what we just got. But don't the UK already have, like, all the fiber? Like, don't you already have fiber? Or yes, I would say if you are a doomsayer, right now is probably the best time to be a doomsayer. Because things are not looking well. How is... King Julian, are you calling the people bullshit? The people have spoken, bro. And they have decided that you're a freeloading asshole. You can't argue with democracy, brother. It is democratic. It has been decided. This is your life now. Just live it. People are clearly biased and have an agenda against me. Jesus. King Julian literally just turned into a politician. Of the network against fiber, it's now just rolling it out from the exchanges to the towns and cities. We have fiber potential, but it's taken them 10 years to start tearing up the old copper cabling. Jesus, dude. How is it taking you guys that long? I don't think there's a single big city or a town anywhere in South Africa that doesn't have full fiber. Like, some fiber providers are clearly not as good as others, but they almost all have fiber. Van Hongerton, ours do the same thing, although they don't really want to send people out these days, so most of your tasting you have to do yourself. Directly across the road, you can get fiber. I can't. Oh, that's sad. Apocalypse. It's British Telecom, bureaucratic, clunky asshats that they are. Okay, if you want to play more Warhammer on a lesser cost, you could start playing Kill Team, as those are somewhere between 4 and 15 models, most of the time all in one box, and the games take 1 to 2 hours instead of 2 to 5, and a couple of €100 at least to play decent-sized 40k wargame style. I don't have anyone to play tabletop with, so no real point in playing tabletop for me. I don't know anyone that plays tabletop. Wait, but didn't you guys have... I'm fucking certain you guys had... a friend of mine has had cable for a really long time. And cable is just as fast as fiber, isn't it? Because he had like a 500 up, 250 down line for... Or 500 down, 250 up line for literally years now. And he lives in Manchester. So, how the fuck does this work? Gaming cafes in South Africa as well. Even my third world country has. There, maybe. I could look into it. Oh, okay. So BT is the one that's trying to cover the whole country now. But you have other ones. Yeah, I would say Telkom is pretty big in South Africa, but I think Vumatel is bigger now. Who is bigger? Because Telkom is like our BT. Telkom or Vumatel? Let's just quickly see. Who's bigger? Oh, okay. Telkom is still bigger, but Vumatel is catching up fast. But dude, we have so many fiber providers. Like, Jesus. All South African... See. Fiber providers. So... These are ISPs. Who's the fiber providers? Here we go. So, we have... These are the ones, okay, so these are the ISPs. I don't want the fucking ISPs, I want the fiber providers, you assholes. These are broadband. Oh, for the love of fuck. Are you for real? Alright, well, screw it. They won't tell me which ones. But, okay, here we go. Here we go. So, you have OpenServe, Frogfoot, Linklayer, Telkom, MTN, Vodacom, Afrihost. Then you have Octutel, for example. I don't know who Unlimited Home is. Vox is doing their own fiber rollouts now. Although they're a new company, I think. Access is just an ISP, I think. Yeah, you have DNA Tel, you have Fiber Suburb, Lingteg Fiber, Frogfoot Air, Vodacom, and then these are all the ISPs in South Africa. Like, we have so many, dude. So many that provides fiber in South Africa. It's probably in like the low 20s. If you include all of the ones, because there's like a few fiber providers in South Africa that they don't provide to the whole country, but they do provide to certain towns. Like Octutel, for example, the one that I'm with now, they only provide to certain places in the Western Cape. They don't have any other fiber lines in the rest of the country, but they do have fiber lines in the Western Cape. Retailers for 40k stuff in Cape Town. You have Pandemonium Games and Sword and Board Games and Hobbies. Yeah, we checked out Sword and Board. I still want to get some fucking models from them at some point. Let's quickly see what's this World of Warcraft Legacies thing. World of Warcraft Legacies. Let's see. Chapter 1. Oh my god. I really hope that this is good. Filled just absolutely to the brim with some lore and speculation. Let's see.
This place holds many mysteries, but few answers.
Stop there! Who are you?
One who would be your guide. Tell me, what do you remember from before?
My general, a fierce battle. And then I was imprisoned in darkness.
But now, you are free.
What are you?
Come, there is much I would show you to prepare you for the...
Is that Murazond? It could be Murazond, actually. It could be that Nosdormu is being guided by himself? That would be wild.
Challenges that lie ahead.
This place... so strange. Where are we?
Where is less important than when. Many thousands of years ago, when our world was young, Azeroth was home to the ancestors of dragons. Primitive beasts ruled by primal instincts. Yet, there were a few in whom the spark of intelligence was lit, who thought, spoke, and felt more deeply than the rest.
What does this have to do with me?
Were it not for them, your people would not be. From these proto-dragons, there arose the monster, Galakrond.
Oh, bro.
Whose insatiable
Big boy
hunger would have consumed us all. When the fate of our kind was at stake, we five overcame the instincts of fear and self-preservation and united to battle the Leviathan.
We? So, you were one of these?
For our bravery.
Are they changing the lore? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but that's not quite how that happened. At least not in how we were informed of it originally. But it does seem like that is a massive lore change. Because they were actually losing to Galakrond. They weren't winning. Yeah, okay, point of view makes sense, Apocalypse. I didn't think of that. So it is being told from the point of view of someone. Therefore, it doesn't have to be fully correct because things could be left out just for, interest's sake to make it easier to tell the story. Or this is how they remember it rather than what actually happened there. Because, I saw Tyr nowhere, and Tyr was definitely part of that fight. We know this because they told us. So we'll see.
Risking everything to save the world, we were granted a gift of the Titans, transformed into something greater. Together, we became the Aspects, leaders of the Dragon Flights, the protectors of Azeroth. In time, we took on visages like this to better commune with the younger races.
Why have you shown me this?
I am Nosdormu. I was aspect of the Bronze Flight. It is my fate to see all of time.
I was?
Aspect of the Bronze Flight. I am Nosdormu. I was aspect of the Bronze Flight.
I was aspect of the Bronze Dragonflight. He is currently the aspect of the Bronze Dragonflight. Unless, of course, the argument here is that when they when they poured their power into the Dragon Soul, or Demon Soul, depending on which one you want to believe it is, or which version of it you want to believe it is, but when they poured their power into the Dragon Soul, they lost their aspect status, but that would be wild because they were still always considered as the aspects, even though their power was in the Dragon Soul and it was depleted in order to take down Deathwing. So that's weird. Or this is actually taking place in the future, and this means that Nosdormu is no longer Nosdormu. That could be it too. Is a retcon. They are now confirming that at the end of Kata, they did indeed lose all their power, even though we saw otherwise. Well, that's a pretty big retcon, though, Apocalypse. I mean, that's a massive retcon. Because as far as retcons go, I mean, the aspects still have power. In Legion, at the end of the Emerald Nightmare, we see the aspects and their power. The green dragons are there trying to heal the dream. That was their power, by the way. Their power was to heal the dream. So they still have that power. Yes, it's diminished, but it's not gone. So that would be a very big retcon. This could always be in terms of time. So this could be a time issue. This is taking place after the fall of Nosdormu. He does get his perspective messed up by timelines too. He can see all of them, so often speaks in incorrect tenses. That is also possible, right? So from his perspective, because he knows what the timelines have in store for him, he already refers to himself as was. This could mean that he knows that this expansion, or in the immediate future, he will fall and he will become Morozond, which, by the way, is still a legitimate way for him to go.
Right. It is my fate to see all of time. But now a threat to our world approaches. An ancient enemy has returned. You will play a part in the events to come, and you will have to make a difficult choice, as we did.
I am not like you.
No. My story is already written. But yours, and that of all Drakthir...
That's quite impactful, that line, actually. My story is already written. So the story of Nosdormu, just to give a quick recap, the story of Nosdormu is one of terrible, terrible fucking sadness. At the moment that Nosdormu became the Bronze Dragonflight aspect, he already saw his death. This was the burden. This was his price that he had to pay. Every single one of the dragon aspects, upon becoming their aspect, they were given this great gift, right? To all this power, but every single one of them came with a curse, so to speak, as well. So there is a counterbalance to this. For Deathwing, for example, as soon as he gained the power of the earth, he also started feeling the rocks and the weight of Azeroth pushing down on him, literally ripping into his skin. This is one of the reasons, by the way, that Deathwing has all of these metal things on him, because as he grew more and more hateful, the stones of Azeroth started pressing more and more on him, ripping him apart, effectively. This is his curse, along with his power. For Nosdormu, this curse was his death. He saw his death. He knew how he was going to die. And with that came almost a double curse, because at the moment of his death, he knew that he would not accept it. And it was that would turn him into Morozond. And then as Murazond, he becomes a very, very dangerous enemy. So it's kind of impactful that he says, my story has already been written.
Is only beginning to unfold.
All right. I don't mind this one. This was really cool, actually. I like the fact that he was the one to start off with. There's a spoiler in the subtitles. Oh, by the way, there is a spoiler in the subtitles. What spoiler? Where? This is just a promo vid for the new Dracther Evoker. Cyrodiil, not really, because there's a lot of lore hidden within this. Where is the spoiler within the subtitles? I think this is a good way to start. Nosdormu is by far the most interesting of all of the dragon aspects. And I guess I should give you guys a little bit of backstory here. I'm not a huge fan of the dragons and the dragon lore in World of Warcraft. Not that it's bad lore. It's just always been more boring to me than anything else. I prefer much of the other lore elements within WoW to the dragon. It's not that it's boring. It's just compared to other things. The Void has always been my most interesting. Then Death. Then Foul, and then all of the others. Dragons are sort of right at the bottom. I think maybe Titans might be a bit lower than dragons, but still. So I've never had great interest in dragons, but Nosdormu has always been interesting to me because of his fated Murazond. So I like the fact that they started with Nosdormu. And I also like the way that this kicked off. It's very slow. It reveals a little, but mostly it's just a retelling of all that we already knew. But it does reveal some subtle hints at threads that might in the future be played out and we may see. So I'm really looking forward to that. Not these apparently. Noble's reaction had the names before the subtitles. Oh, right. Yeah, I don't think that matters too much. Because it's who he's speaking to, right? And yeah, that might be important, but not right now, at least. Always weird. Warhammer Catan dragons are silly, but awesome. It's not that. So I know there's a lot of people that love dragons, and I don't mind that at all. I don't find the dragons to be like horrible or anything. If you compare dragons to a lot of other stories, I still prefer the dragon story. It's just in the entirety of World of Warcraft, in perspective to the rest of World of Warcraft, the dragon lore is kind of boring to me. And before the ancient enemy is actually Odin and the Titans. Dude, I actually think the ancient enemy might be Murazond. I don't think it's the Primalists. I think the ancient enemy that he's referring to is Murazond. So I think that we might find out that Murazond was behind a lot of the fuckery that happened, and how Galakrond eventually became Galakrond may actually have something to do with Murazond. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, dude, Murazond didn't even exist at the time of Galakrond, so what the fuck are you talking about? But this is where time fuckery becomes a really big deal. At the moment of Murazond's creation, Murazond have existed since the beginning of time and also till the end of time. At the moment of his creation, because Murazond has power over the timelines the same as Nosdormu, meaning Murazond can go to any point in the timeline and do basically whatever the hell he wants. So the moment that Murazond was created, he was basically created in that moment, but also at the start and also at the end, because he can move in that timeline. So he could have easily from his creation moved back in time to where Galakrond was and created Galakrond, they move forward in time and Nostormu and them would have to deal with it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's sort of one of the problems with time traveling, is that sort of paradox that ends up happening of, you know, what can you do and how will that affect people, especially since it didn't affect you in the first place, but now it might affect you because you moved back in time. So how are you going to deal with that? He's not the enemy. Morazon will be our savior this X-Pack. Plus, we know he will survive this since he goes back and dies in Kata. Yeah, but it also depends on which one we saw die in Cataclysm. Maybe something like 9.2 Galakron, 9.3 Morazon, 9.4 Odin. But 9.3 and 9.4 would be interchangeable based on the story. I don't think we're going to get a 9.4 ever. We've never had 9.4, so I don't think 9.4 would be a thing here. Or we've never had 0.4 patches, really, not in modern day WoW. And it seems like Blizzard may want to do away with the 0.3 patches too if Shadowlands is anything to go by. So whatever is going to happen in this expansion will have to happen in the two big two big patches that comes. I, for one, think this is really good. I'm really looking forward to this. What do you mean Dragonflight's starting number is, Metal Fan? This was really good. The first number in the patch version. Okay, so the first patch is almost always 0.0. So you have 9.0, which is the pre-patch, but then also the expansion launch. Then usually you have 9.0.5, which is usually a very unnoticeable patch because it's usually like a month or a month and a half after launch where a lot of bugs are fixed and things like that goes through. So it's not really known as a patch, so to speak. It's just sort of like a balancing patch and shit like that. And then you have the first big patch, which is always 0.1. So 9.1, then 9.15, then 9.2, then 9.25 probably. But yeah, so 10.0 is usually like pre-patch, and then also the launch is 10.0, sorry, yeah. 10.0, which is the launch, and then you have 10.5, 10.05, and 10.1, and 10.2, all that shit. I'm not getting my hopes up just yet. I'm hyped for Dragonflight, but I won't forget how Blizz cocked us ever since Legion. Yes and no, because Choke, first and foremost, thanks for the first time chat, dude. Really appreciate that. I mean, they've learned, or at least they seem like they've learned. Things are still up in the air, and anything can happen, right? But it looks as if Blizzard have learned. So we'll have to wait and see. Blizzard is doing a lot of things differently. We have Preach that's been flown out to California to meet with him for some fucking reason. So we'll see. I wonder, Avedon, if that's not why they brought Preach there. To give Preach the opportunity to actually speak to people and actually get some kind of information, right? Don't know yet. It doesn't look like there's an F, Mew Kirimon. Not interested in Preach at all. Visi, why not? I have zero hype, to be honest. Blizzard seem to be listening to the Raiders and Mythic Andes, not so much the casuals. I don't know if I agree with that at all. But just a photo op to try get fleeing sub-base back. It might be. Look, of course they want their sub-base back, but it's still good. It's still good. Ace the Base, how you doing, brother? Aspen has released a video where he goes over the models of the mounts and bosses for 10.0, and Necrit has released a video where he goes over the potential loot for the Riot MMO. Oh, shit. In fairness to Preach, he is normally good at spotting issues for casuals as well as hardcore. I don't agree with the whole this is a purely hardcore-driven expansion. Because the hardcore retains all the things that they would normally have. which is PvP, dungeons, Mythic Plus specifically, and then raids, right? That's the stuff that they've always had. But everything else in the expansion seems to be very much geared towards the casual base. You know, there's a bunch of open world fucking experiences to be had, rock climbing and races, Drakthir racing or dragon racing, things like that. So, you know, Preach joined the quit drama. I couldn't care less if he comes back or not, but people will fuss over him because of how many viewers he brings in. So, Preach didn't join the quit drama. Preach pretty much led the quit drama. And also, Preach didn't quit playing the game. He just quit making content on the game. We had this discussion yesterday. A lot of people misunderstand what Preach did and just how impactful Preach was. It's thanks to Preach that Blizzard finally fucking started listening. And finally started taking the community seriously. If it wasn't for Preach, I don't think Blizzard would have given a shit about anything. Blizzard can never get a good balance. They tend to go from one extreme end to the other extreme end. Let's wait and see, guys. I haven't played the expansion yet, so I can't render that judgment. I will have to get into the expansion, try out the expansion before I can render that judgment. But believe me, as a casual player, if there's not enough casual things to do, I will lose my fucking shit, and I'll be very clear on that. Rukon, how you doing, brother? Voicey TV. There we go. Voicey TV was exactly where you were, Vissy, and I explained it to him yesterday. Why a lot of people misunderstand Preach and what Preach did and why he did it. So is Warriors still useless, Huracan, or are Warriors actually pretty good? Digit, how you doing, brother? So if there's no Echo Stream and almost knowledge boost for free? Shit. I just don't watch his vids. I still don't care about Preach, but also don't hate him. I mean, everyone does what they want to do. I'm not trying to convert people to start watching Preach's videos. Don't get me wrong. I don't care. You can watch whoever the fuck you want. You don't have to watch anyone. It really is up to you. What I don't like is when people believe things about Preach that isn't true. And then judge him based on that. And not because I'm trying to simp for Preach. I couldn't give two fucks. I just don't like when people decide they don't like someone based on false stories or false equivalences. That pisses me off to no end. I don't know, I'm not doing in-game content, but the talents are great. I haven't set foot in World of Warcraft. I'll probably play it this weekend. I'll probably jump in this weekend and have a bit of a go. You know, fuck around with it a little. We'll see, though. We'll see how busy I am this weekend with shit. Warriors, they have ever since vanilla. Frag, but this makes sense. I would hate the Warriors, too. Warrior is pretty useless. So, you know, I would remove Warriors. I think that's what Blizzard is trying to do. And I wish them all the luck in the world with that one. I think Blizzard is trying to get people to stop playing Warrior so that Blizzard can make an actually interesting class and also retire Warriors in general. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to the day that Blizzard finally announces that they're removing Warriors from the game, because Warriors are just useless. We need more Warlock specs, really. Like a melee Warlock spec, maybe something that wields like a big axe, would actually be good. I will never take that back. Why would I not speak the truth? My whole job here is to speak truth to power. What the fuck are you talking about, Saradu? What's your spicy take, Rurikon? You want to jump into Discord and deliver your spicy take? Can't hear you over the sound of how awesome my warrior is. Oh yeah, this is exactly why warriors are such a problem. They don't hear shit. I have to save it. All right, bro. Good morning. How's it going, Minion? How you doing, bro? Degen spec, great power, but periodically the game crashes. Just finished the latest FST. I really enjoy it every time. I get to clean my whole house and listen to two balding men talk about games. Dude, I don't care that you're gonna call me fat or whatever, but I'm not fucking balding. Like, this is where I draw the fucking line. Zita, how you doing? I am definitely not bald, nor am I going bald. I have all of my hair still the way that it's been for the last fucking 20 years plus. I've not lost any hair. Look, it's all there. Warriors the best? Shit-talking warriors? I am, Dronka. What do you want to fucking do? What the fuck? How did that just fall out? What? Bro, that shit's wild. Hello? Alright, that's not good. Hold up, chat. I've got a problem. I have a thing that's just fucking fallen out here. No. Stop going in. Wait. Fuck. Alright, something's broken. Hold up, chat. This shit is so wrong. Yeah, that is wrong. Wait, hold up. Don't. Okay, let's see. See if this works. I think that goes there. Or doesn't it? No! Got it. Fuck. Yeah, just give me a moment, guys. I'll be right with you. This is not the way. This is absolutely not right. What the fuck is going on? Oh, that is fine. And that's how it should be. So then, why are you being problematic? Something's not right. No. Fuck. Then how the fuck? See if that works. All right, I think that works. Sorry, chat. I don't know what the hell went wrong there, but that was weird. I'll have to watch your reaction to the new cinematic after the stream is done. Yeah, I'll definitely be uploading it. Jim has made you the Hulk? Terry might. No, I mean, I don't know how the fuck it fell off. It just fell off. But hopefully that shit's done now. I don't know if I'm fiddling with it too much or whatever. Might be that, right? So yeah, we'll see. Mike couldn't handle the anti-warrior hate you spewed. Yeah, but who likes warriors? No one. Fucking warriors are useless. Dude, I genuinely don't understand. You're playing a fantasy game with magic and shit, and instead you go, you know what I want to be? I want to be a fucking oaf that swings an axe. That's what I want to be. Fuck having magic. Fuck being special. No, I'll just be like anyone that hits the gym for like 2 hours a day and has an axe. That's it. Who's gonna come up to me? Asmongold. Asmongold doesn't leave his house, bro. He's not gonna come to South Africa. Jenny Beans, I agree with that. I do think paladins are for pussies, but at the same time, at least you chose a fucking class that has magic, which is still better than not choosing a class with magic, right? If you're skinny, warriors are fantasy too. True, you get to imagine what it would be like to be bulky, right? But then you get a bunch of skinny fucks that play something like Blood Elf Warrior. It's like, oh shit, this guy really didn't want to be fucking good. Oh, fuck you, Abaddon. Dude, this is not what warlocks are, though. This is not what warlocks are. Do I have an elf? I must have a blood elf, no? I don't think I do. I used to have a rogue blood elf, or a blood elf rogue, but I changed that to undead. I don't think I play a single blood elf. I play orcs, mostly, and then I have a couple of others. Warlock through BFA and Legion. Blood elves can go kill themselves in-game, of course. I don't mind the Blood Elves. I mean, it's elves, guys. They're part of the history of World of Warcraft. Why would you hate them? There are so many elven sort of fucking tribes and history and important people that used to be elves or that are elves. I don't hate the elves. It's not like warriors. I have a deep disdain for warriors and warrior players. I think warrior players are really wasting their potential. Dwarf warrior, base race class in WoW. And then you go for a fucking dwarf as well. You and Rurikon are probably best friends, Frag. Because Rurikon is also like all on the fucking dwarven warrior dick the whole time. And whenever we speak, he's just all about the dwarven warriors. It's like, alright, so you chose to be a short person. Like, why the fuck would you do that? You chose to be the one class that I would not be afraid of if it came running up to me. Like, if we're standing there, we're all in this battleground together, and here comes a short little fucking dwarf running with an axe. I'd start laughing. Like, maybe that's how it killed me? Because I'd be laughing so hard, I wouldn't be able to fight back. But I wouldn't be afraid of it. Why the fuck? It's not like an orc warrior runs towards you, right? If an orc warrior comes stampeding towards you, then maybe you'd be scared. Dwarves are literally the worst. Dwarves are always the strongest faction. Look at Lord of the Rings. Who did the Dark Lord go after first? Bro. The best class ever. DK is a class. Dude, DKs are not the best class ever. Mads, please. Please, don't start with this. Don't fucking start with this. Like, dwarfs are definitely not based. I wouldn't be a dwarf. What the fuck would I do with a dwarf? It's like people who play gnome. You can't trust a person that plays gnome. Tiger Shark, how you doing, brother? It's like you're playing a class that looks silly in armor on purpose. I have some warriors. Dark Iron Heritage gear is great for that. Gnome players are always 100% trolls. I had a friend who played a gnome mage. And I remember way back in the day looking at that gnome mage, and I kept asking him, dude, how can you play this game? This was before I knew anything about World of Warcraft. And I thought that this was just how the characters look in World of Warcraft, because I never watched him play. I would just always see his character on the loading screen. And I'd be like, dude, why would you play a game where the fucking characters look so stupid? And then when I started playing, I saw the gnome for the first time and I realized there was a fucking choice. Like, he chose to look like a fucking knob. I don't know why, but that was his choice. Like a little penis. That's what gnomes are. It's just little penises running around. Best dance. And well, though, there was a gnome rogue twink in BG once, years ago, called My Little Pony. That guy was a pain. Why? What makes elves more boring than dwarfs, though? Scottberg, that's another class. I wouldn't play a furry class. I will not roll. I don't even think I have Volpera unlocked. Unless, of course, you ought to unlock it. I don't think I've ever done the quests to unlock Volpera. Because I have no interest in ever playing it. Yeah, but Abaddon, wouldn't you say that having a stick up your ass is still having character? Because part of your character trait is having a stick up your ass. Lil Young, how you doing, bro? Sorry for the spam recommendation for the Reddit. Search on the top videos, because if you choose hot, it only looks for upvotes in the last days, weeks, which will make you miss videos from more than that time passed, because they didn't get any upvotes, while some of them stand at 10, 20 upvotes more than any upload from the last week or two. Little Young'uns, no. Well, I'm not. No, I'm South African, and I'm Afrikaans as my first language. Yeah, all right, I'll do that. It's not about respect, King Julian. It's not about respect. I don't automatically disrespect people who play Warrior. I have a deep mistrust or distrust of people that choose to play Warrior in a fantasy game. You could have picked anything, and yet you decided to look like a cunt. Why? It's not about respect. I can't say that I respect or disrespect anyone. No, I like Asmongold in spite of him playing Warrior. Not because of it. So, what exactly do you want? You want me to search in the last month, right? That's probably where you want to go with this. Just got my books. Nice. You fucking asshole. I want those books. Orcs. Time for Orktober, you gits. Jesus. 13 upvotes already. If you're going to see any weeb shit about the Tau, just go past. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. I will never watch shit about the Tau. I've already watched this one. We need to finish Octarius War, though. I don't make the rules, bro. You can't be bald if you have a beard. The hair just migrated. But I'm not bald, though. Oh, for the love of fuck. All right, guys. Where's this bald spot? Like, where am I balding? Where exactly would the bald be? I have literal hair everywhere. Like, what the fuck? Dude, I hate when people say, oh my god, you're balding. Like, where? That's not happening. Dude, my hairline has been like this, I think, since I was like 20-something. My dad is deep in his 60s, almost in his 70s. He has exactly the same hairline as me. And he's had it also. My brother has the exact same hairline as me. It's just the hairline. That's just how the hair grows. I've never had a hairline that just straight goes like this. It's never been that way. Even as a young kid, it was never like this. Big forehead then? Yeah, you can say that. I have a big forehead, right? So proper 5 head. But definitely not balding. Oh my god. Bro, go fuck yourself. Abaddon, you can go fuck yourself. The BBA? What the hell's BBA? It's okay. You can get hair grafts. Don't let chat bully you just because you're bald. Dude, I'm going to fucking lose my shit. Look, I don't mind being bald because I don't give much of a fuck, but I'm not bald. That's just facts. I don't mind it. It doesn't really bother me. I just don't. I am not. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna fucking kill my chat. You guys are morons. You know that? Should try getting a keep sponsor. For fuck's sake. You guys realize you're being very fucking uncharitable towards people like Asmongold and Rurikon who are actually fucking bald, right? Like, calling me bald is so disrespectful to people that are actually bald. Like, how dare you guys? You disgusting assholes. Cry like Asmon and hide it. If I was Asmongold, I would just shave my head. Why doesn't he just shave his head? It looks uncomfortable to have that long hair just so that you can hide that you're going bald. Which is not what we're talking about. As it looks like Fabio with his hair compared to myself. I started balding after 35. No big whoop. I just shaved my head a couple of times a week. Yeah, I would probably just shave my hair as well if I did go bald. Play a DK main because no, you don't have King Julian. It's you. You obviously don't have any fucking class. What are you talking about? I had long hair once when I was still in college. My hair came to here, like just down the, like about mid-arm length. And I will never go back to that. Now, whenever my hair just grows a little bit, so when my hair reaches to below my ear, I want to lose my mind. Because it gets everywhere. You're lying in bed, and then it's fucking hair in your face, and you're constantly working the hair out of your face. It is such a miserable experience having long hair. How girls do it, I will never understand, bro. You have these girls, right, with these incredibly, like, just fucking massive long hair. It's like, how do you deal with that? Just because the hair is gonna go everywhere. You know it's gonna go everywhere. I couldn't fucking do it. Down my back now. Haven't cut it for 4 years. Dude, I couldn't do that. Your hairline looks like you straight ripped it off the original Thrall model. Minion, go fuck yourself. Like, Thrall would also be actually a little bald, probably. Thick hair. My dad's almost 80 now and has the mane of a lion still. Jesus. I'm a dude, a metalhead. My hair reaches below my diaphragm. See, I like metal. I love metal, but that doesn't mean I have to pretend like I'm in a fucking metal band from the 80s. I can listen to my metal and just chill. Like, every single day when I go to the fucking gym, I pop in some rock and some metal and I just work out. It's a lot of fun. I don't have to look the part as well. Why the fuck would you do that? I have to change his name from Akalon to Balding, but I will not do that because I'm not fucking bald. Let's see. Oh, shit. First contact. Dude. I think I want to watch this. Reason being, right now in the Dark Imperium that I'm reading, we're getting this sort of, like, the Chaos and Nurgle is attacking Ultramar. And I don't think the fight is yet on Macragge, but it's probably going to Macragge. Yeah, I want to watch the Tyranids First Contact and the Battle of Macragge. So I'll give this one an upvote. This is what we're watching, chat. Here we go. Here we go. I'm ready. Dude, fuck. I love this shit.
The Imperium of Man first made contact with a new Xenos species at the planet of Tyran. Imperial explorators, who are Mechanicus tech priests committed to exploration and